So it finally happened. We finally got Donald Trump's tax returns, at least from 2005. Welcome to Let's Play the News, the series where we break down the news of the day, accompanied by footage of some of your favorite games. The article from CNBC. Donald Trump just got a nice victory, thanks, of all people, to Rachel Maddow. But first I want to talk a little bit about my Mass Effect playthrough, and it's really fun. This part, we're going down to the surface of Eden Prime. This is a huge game. I don't think I realized what I was in for when I started playing it, but I'm going to just try to stick to the main quest. Eden Prime is under attack, and I go in there, and there's a lot of action this part. I think the last part was pretty dialogue heavy. This part, there's a lot of action. I'm learning how to fight, learning how to shoot things, and I stumble around a bit, but please excuse please excuse me as I get accustomed to the controls and just try to basically learn how to play this game. Having a good time though, and I think I'm going to keep doing it. But let's jump into this op-ed we have from CNBC. The title is Donald Trump just got a nice victory, thanks of all people to Rachel Maddow. On her Tuesday show, Rachel Maddow teased a scoop she had: Donald Trump's 2005 tax returns. It was the first time his federal returns would be released. Small discretion, NBC's Maddow didn't have them. Investigative reporter David K. Johnston got them and went on her show to talk about it. Anyway, when she finally revealed what was in his tax returns, it was not a huge deal. Trump earned about $150 million in income in 2005 and paid $38 million in taxes, thanks to the alternative minimum tax, which he wants to get rid of. So actually, Rachel Maddow last night around 7 o'clock had tweeted, "Breaking, we've got Trump tax returns tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, MSNBC. Seriously." And she just hyped this thing to hell on Twitter, only to have it blow up in her face. Continuing with the article, this gives Trump an effective tax rate of about 24%. It's actually 25%, but article says 24%, which Johnson pointed out was roughly equal to what he and his wife, who are an upper middle class couple, pay. And sure, for a billionaire, you can argue that he should pay more in taxes, but $38 million is a big number, as is $150 million in income. There was speculation, fueled by Trump himself, that he wasn't paying anything in taxes. That led Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton attacking him on that front. Back in the September debate between both candidates, Trump and Democrat Hillary Clinton said, "The only years that anybody's ever seen were a couple of years when he had to turn them over to state authorities when he was trying to get a casino license, and they showed he didn't pay any federal income tax." Trump quickly retorted, "That makes me smart." But it turns out Trump did pay taxes, at least in 2005. Donald Trump Jr. tweeting, "Thank you, Rachel Maddow, for proving to your Trump-hating followers how successful @RealDonaldTrump is, and that he paid $40 million in taxes. #taxes. For Trump, in the swirl of chaos thanks to the CBO saying the GOP healthcare bill would lead to $24 million uninsured and the FBI preparing to weigh in on his accusations of President Obama wiretapping him, this tax story is a welcome reprieve." And, NBC just had to throw that little bit in, but we'll ignore that. The 2005 tax return could have been an anomaly. Maybe Trump doesn't pay this much in taxes normally, or maybe he usually pays more. Who knows? Either way, this story has created the appearance that Trump does in fact make a lot of money and he pays millions in taxes. For the next news cycle, we're likely to see this story dominate, giving Trump some breathing room as the media has been laser focused on the the GOP healthcare bill's flaws. On Maddow's show, Johnston suggested that Trump may have sent the tax returns to him. It seemed like an odd thing to say, but when you look at how this is really good for Trump, maybe it's not so crazy after all. And that's the article written by Jay Yarrow of CNBC. I mean, the response to this has just been devastating for Rachel Maddow. New York Times writes, Rachel Maddow lands a scoop, then makes viewers wait. The article says, with a single tweet on Tuesday, Miss Maddow, the MSNBC anchor, set the political world ablaze, announcing at 7:36 p.m. that she was poised to reveal previously unseen tax records from President Trump on her 9 p.m. program. In the need-at-this-instant world of online news, 84 minutes struck some journalists as an awfully long time to wait. The White House took advantage, releasing preemptive statement that detailed Mr. Trump's tax figures from 2005 before MSNBC had the chance to air its own report. The Daily Beast and other news outlets ran items as well. And it actually took Rachel Maddow 20 minutes after her 9 o'clock show had already hit to reveal the tax returns. And the last time I could think of this happening, and it pissed a lot of people off, and the last time I could think of this happening is season premiere of The Walking Dead back in October, I think. Yeah, but back in October when we had to wait 20 minutes in addition to the 6 months we already waited to see who Negan actually killed. Like, this is such a tease for her viewers. And of course, the White House was smart. They were able to break the news before she even had a chance to. And she just had to tease it on Twitter. She just had to tease it for her ratings. And I was actually keeping up with this after it aired. I was keeping up with it on Twitter, and Twitter was just ablaze last night with criticisms towards Maddow. Twitter is a very harsh medium to the president. Like, you look on Twitter, people do not like Trump on Twitter, but last night I could not find one comment that was dissing Trump. I could not find one comment in Maddow's defense. It was all like, this is like Al Capone's vault back in the 80s with Geraldo Rivera, that like huge television moment that was built up and just ended up being like the biggest anticlimax of all time. Like, all we got was that we're trying to expose Trump, trying to make him seem like the bad guy. All we got was he actually pays more in taxes than anybody else. Tweet from Bernie Sanders back before the election. Not only is Donald Trump going to lose on November 8th, but next year he's going to start paying his fair share of taxes. A graphic underneath that shows Trump's 2005 tax rate, 25%. Bernie 2014 tax rate, 13.5%. Even Van Jones on CNN admitted that, he wished that there would be something damaging to the president in this report, and he admitted that it was actually a great victory for the president. And he's a little bit disappointed. This Hillary Clinton tweet back in November 2nd, 2016, just days before the election. About half of the people he wants to deport, they've paid more taxes than Donald Trump has paid. This morning, Democrats have rallied a bit more. Democrats are saying, despite spending the better part of last year calling for Trump's tax returns, they're saying that we should stop focusing on the tax returns and focus on what a colossal mess Trump care is going to be. And again, very funny coming from people who spent the better part of 2016 just hammering for these tax returns. Yeah, so no doubt is this just so humiliating for Rachel Maddow. And I actually like Rachel Maddow, but I don't know how she's going to recover from this. I don't know how she's going to do a show tonight. I think she was very artfully pivoting last night. She did a very great job in teasing, and then trying to kind of like really bury what they call in journalism burying the lead. So on live television, and I guess this is why Bill O'Reilly and, smarter journalists, quote unquote journalists, don't do live shows. Rachel Maddow had to bury the lead big time. Just scrolling through Twitter, I'm finding like the most ridiculous things, like memes of Trump dressed up like Neo from The Matrix, Hillary Clinton tripping while entering her plane, a picture of Rachel Maddow playing Trump in three-dimensional chess, that game from Star Trek. Like, it is just brutal. This is savagery, savagery right here. So this has had, and it is going to continue to have, its own moment in the news cycle. I know Democratic strategists are trying to bury this story by keep bringing up the negative aspects at Trump care, and we discussed that yesterday, the negative aspects of Trump care. But you're not going to bury this story. You're just going to have to let it play its course. The president is saying today that Rachel Maddow and MSNBC are so desperate for ratings that they're willing to break the law. He's calling this illegal, that the means of how they got the documentation of his tax returns from 2005 was an illegal process. I just say, dude, just take it, just take it. You won here. People are saying Rachel Maddow, yep, just confirmed Trump 2020. I mean, this is actually a really brilliant strategy that's been used in politics a number of times over the past 10 years, I'd say. It's like the birth certificate thing. People are probably going to ask, well, why was Trump sitting on this if, it was just a positive news story for him in the first place? Why didn't he just release this? Just this little morsel. Why didn't he just release this at the outset? And what I say to that is because it's a brilliant political strategy. And Obama did it. Obama did it back with his birth certificate. You had people crying about the fucking birth certificate. No one cared about the birth certificate, but you had people crying about it. And you had this huge movement about this fucking birth certificate. And people were asking, why doesn't Obama release his birth certificate? It takes me, if someone asked me for my birth certificate, it would take me 5 minutes. I could produce it for you in 5 minutes. So why did it take Obama so long to produce his birth certificate? The secret was he was preparing a net. He was preparing a net to catch all of these fucking idiots who were asking for his birth certificate. Every single person who asked for his birth certificate looked like a total fucking moron. And then after months and months of speculation, and was he born in the United States? Where was he born? Kenya? He was born in Indonesia. Where is this guy from? And after months and months and months of that, he finally produces a birth certificate. All of his opponents look like complete racist dicks. And he comes out of it looking good. He comes out of it looking better than he would have if he just released it day one. It's like when I was a kid, I would bring home a test from school. Like I'd have an A on the test. I'd bring it home from school. I'd tell my parents about it. I'd make them think I got an F on the test. And then like at the last second pull it out and say, nope, I actually got an A. And the reaction was bigger than if I had just revealed the A, because they were relieved. I was a manipulative, don't get me wrong, I was a manipulative little prick when I was a kid, but I'm saying the reaction was greater than if I would have just come out straight out and said I got an A on this test. It's like, you understand my point. It's like a very similar thing. Trump sits on these 2005 tax returns for months and months. They get revealed. He probably honestly leaked them. He probably leaked them on purpose. They get this big reveal, this big hype primetime reveal, and it makes Trump look great, and it makes all of his opponents look like complete idiots. I mean, they spent the better part of 2016 trying to get these tax returns, trying to prove that Trump is a fraud, that he's a phony, that he's a tax evader. So huge win for Donald Trump today. You might ask, what does this do for the president? Political elites are not impressed. Political journalists are very annoyed by this. Democratic strategists are not happy right now. But this gives Trump a lot of capital with the people. Polls show the people already don't trust the media. They trust the president more than they do the media. So next time there's a scandal, whether it's real or fake, next time there's a scandal, all Trump has to do is point to, well, these guys, they spent all these months going after my tax returns. Turns out I pay more in taxes than anyone else. All Trump has to do is say that. It discredits everything the media has to say for the next 4 years. He's probably going to get reelected in 2020. Probably going to get reelected. I mean, this could not have gone better for the president. I mean, you stack up Trump against Bernie Sanders, stack him up against Hillary Clinton, stack him up against Mitt Romney, stack him up against Warren Buffett, stack him up against Barack Obama. He pays more taxes than all of them. This just could not have come at a better time. This detracts from that terrible score the CBO gave the American Health Care Act. That terrible score. No one is even talking about it anymore. No one is even talking. They're all about Trump tax returns. All about Trump tax returns. So I want to find out how these tax returns ended up in this guy's mailbox. I want to know if Trump really did leak these. If the Trump team did leak these, they're brilliant. They're brilliant. They calculated every single move perfectly. Rachel Maddow fell right into the trap. If he really did, which I'm not sure, so convinced if he did leak them or not. I probably would have done it, but it was orchestrated perfectly if it was a leak. So here's a little scorecard I found when Trump first announced his candidacy. This is dating back to when Trump first announced his candidacy in 2015. Starts with Trump won't run. Trump won't release his finances. Trump can't breach 15%. Trump can't breach 25%. Trump can't breach 35%. Trump can't reach 1237. Trump won't win on bound delegates. Trump won't be the Republican Party nominee. Trump can't beat Clinton in swing states. Trump can't get 270 electoral votes. Trump won't win the vote recount. Trump won't get enough delegates. Trump won't beat POTUS. Trump won't end TPP. Trump won't ban radical Muslim countries. Trump had Russia hack the election. Trump won't bring back jobs. Trump doesn't pay taxes, and that's where we are right now. And then it continues, Trump won't repeal Obamacare. Trump won't build the wall. So he's got those two last things left on the scorecard to do. It's looking pretty good. He's pretty much defied every single expectation the media and credible political commentators have placed upon him. Brian Fallon, the former press secretary for Hillary Clinton, said on Twitter 2 hours before Rachel Maddow's show aired, "This is the Holy Grail," and he retweeted Rachel Maddow's announcement that she's got Trump's tax returns. 32 minutes after the show aired, Brian Fallon says, "Dems should return focus to Trump care tomorrow and the millions it will leave uninsured, not get distracted by 2 pages from 2005 tax returns." It's ridiculous. It's funny, but it's ridiculous. So I know I've hyped this a lot, but this is just a huge victory for the president. This gives him, if nothing else, it gives him a lot of capital with the American people. People are going to continue to listen to Trump and not listen to the media. The media, Rachel Maddow, MSNBC, everything the president calls fake news, every outlet in that fake news bubble has just lost so much credibility just by association with the whole tax return scandal that they've set up. Just after the election for the Democrats, it's been misstep after misstep after misstep. They couldn't admit that Hillary Clinton was a terrible candidate. They couldn't admit that maybe we should have put Bernie Sanders out there and not put Clinton over Sanders. They had to get Russia involved. They had to say that Russia rigged our elections, that Russia was responsible for the result of our elections. They elected this Tom Perez guy, DNC chair, who is another Clinton Obama guy. I mean, if the Democrats lose in 2020, they have nobody to blame but themselves. They have put their own nails in the coffin. They should have been promoting guys like Bernie Sanders. They should have been embracing the young progressive wing of their party. Now those people are going to go somewhere else. Democrats have lost those people. Some have gone to Trump. After Bernie Sanders, some have gone to Trump. They've lost those people entirely. I mean, the Democrats are in big, big trouble. But we'll see what happens with it. It should be interesting, no matter what. Should be a very interesting 4 years to come. That's it for today's edition of Let's Play the News. I'm Ryan. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to give us a like. Leave me a comment, especially if you disagree. I really want to get into some debates in the comment section. I think that would be a lot of fun. And if you want to see more of this type of thing, feel free to subscribe at the bottom as well. That's it for today, and I will talk to you guys next time.